Next, join us as we celebrate half a century of memorable screen moments in the premiere special 50 Years of Television. Then Julia Roberts and Australia's Rachel Griffiths in My Best Friend's Wedding.
This special telecast of 50 Years of Television is brought to you by KFC, Sizzler, RACQ Insurance and Eureka Street Furniture.
Welcome to the 50 years of Queensland television. Tonight we'll be taking a wonderful trip down memory lane as we revisit our favourite shows over the past 5 decades, as well as a few bloopers. We'll also be catching up with our homegrown stars, including the zany Jackie McDonald and a host of other special guests. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for this very special program celebrating the golden anniversary of television in Queensland. 50 years ago, Channel 9 became the first station on air in Brisbane. And as you can imagine, there was much excitement surrounding TV's big opening night. The countdown was on. Television was finally coming to town. The small screen flickered to life on August the 16th, 1959. Hugh Cornish was the historic first face on Queensland television.
So at 6 o'clock in I came and I said something like, "Good evening and welcome to television." We never took any news footage of that. I really have no idea what I said, but I'm sure I would have said something like that.
For the young radio announcer, it was a baptism of fire.
Nor did we have auto cue, nor did I have a writer. And nor was there anybody to give me an instruction on what I should be doing and where I should be looking. I had only ever seen a television camera once before, so this was the second time.
There was a rush to get television on air in time for a visit by Princess Alexandra, the official royal guest for the centenary celebrations. In Channel 9's very first news bulletin, Hugh reported the Princess had arrived in Canberra and would soon be on her way to Queensland.
What did Princess Alexandra do today? Television station QTQ9's cameramen were in Canberra today recording her movements.
Leave it to Beaver.
Another program shown on television's first night was the comedy Leave It to Beaver, which became a family favourite. Our first movie ever aired was the John Wayne classic, The Quiet Man. Night owls stayed up to watch the master of suspense, Alfred Hitchcock. Hugh recalls the first news bulletin wasn't all smooth sailing.
And we lost half the film. It was being processed off-site. We didn't have anything that we could process film here. We didn't have a laboratory, we had nothing. And they lost half the film. So, yes, there was a bit of a panic that night.
This, then, is television, catering for all tastes, all ages, and every mood. A vast new world brought right to you in your home. Television, the greatest medium of entertainment ever offered to the Australian public.
The first televisions were expensive. A black and white set cost £250, around 10 weeks' wages. So many people watched through shop windows.
They stood in the street, they took boxes and stood and sat in front of retail outlets that had television sets in the windows.
With this evolving technology came another new phenomenon, the advent of the television advertisement.
BMZ's wonderful new Morris Mini Minor Deluxe, and what a world it brings. Look, it has wind-down windows.
What makes the very best cake of all? With a delicious flavor? Can you name this delicacy?
White Wings cake mix.
Naturally.
It became a phenomenon, didn't it? People could get entertainment at home, and it wasn't like the radio they'd enjoyed before. Here were the pictures to go with it.
Who knew back then that television would change our lives forever? Still ahead on the 50 years of television, one of Channel 9 Queensland's favourite daughters, Jackie McDonald, makes a very rare television comeback. And our early game shows.
Your husband suddenly grew to be the size of the giant in Jack and the Beanstalk. What part of him would you say would remain small? Hilary. Must have a definite answer, Hillary.
He's...
First on air, and for half a century, Queensland has turned to Channel 9 for the news that matters, to stay in touch, to be informed. And now,
good evening.
Andrew Lofthouse brings his experience to the news team you've relied on for 50 years. 9 News. See it first.
I went fishing in Matini the other day and I ran into this charter boat.
What, you didn't see it?
No, anyway, because I've got RACQ boat insurance, I'm covered.
How could you not see a charter boat?
Whether you want to cover your boat against damage or just for the damage it may cause, talk to us. From $89 a year, we'll help you wherever we can.
Charter boat? What charter boat?
RACQ Insurance. Wouldn't be without them.
I just can't decide.
You don't have to. Get our new All-Stars box.
With original recipe, popcorn chicken, a crispy strip, wicked wings and sides, the choice is easy. KFC's All-Stars box.
With the Queensland VIP Pass, you can come here to Movie World, where you'll see the greatest stunt show on earth, Hollywood Stunt Driver. At SeaWorld, there's the incredible Jet Rescue Coaster. And at Wet n Wild, you'll go crazy on 35 rides and attractions. That's all 3 parks till June 30, 2010. And for just $99.95, it's unlimited fun for a revolutionary price. Get your Queensland VIP Pass now at myfun.com.au or call 133-FUN.
The Sunday Mail Suncorp Bridge to Brisbane is on Sunday, August 30, from the Gateway Bridge to the Echo Showgrounds.
This year, proceeds go to the Heart Foundation.
Help us fight heart disease and save the lives of Australians.
This is your last chance to enter, so enter online now. Online entries close Friday, August the 28th.
There's also a chance to win a Suzuki Alto.
So enter the Sunday Mail Suncorp Bridge to Brisbane and join the race day celebrations at the Echo Showgrounds.
Excuse me, sir. Could you please take a photo for us?
Sorry, mate, I don't speak English.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Nothing gets in the way of a KFC Mega Feast.
Join us as we transform a little girl's life.
Yay!
A Domestic Blitz special story.
Oh.
Sunday, 6:30 on 9. This special telecast of 50 years of television is brought to you by Eureka Street Furniture.
Hello, I'm Andrew Lofthouse. Welcome back to this special presentation celebrating 50 years of Queensland television. And now to one of the biggest names who got his start right here at Channel 9 Brisbane. This is where Reg Grundy began building his worldwide empire. And it all started with a little show called Wheel of Fortune.
Channel 9 presents Australia's biggest, richest daytime quiz show, Reg Grundy's Wheel of Fortune. And now here's Mr. Fortune himself, Reg Grundy.
Reg Grundy is still one of the biggest names in television today. He went on to become a media mogul, producing game shows and dramas for the world market, but it all began in Brisbane. After his 3 shows in Sydney were axed, he headed to Queensland to have another crack at television.
He had bought a chocolate wheel from one of the radio stations, and I think that that was what gave him an idea that with television being so young, and certainly I think QTQ was being built at that time, he would propose a show that was based on a wheel to Channel 9. And of course, you can say the rest is history.
Possibly Australia's most famous ambassadors for a long, long time, the Bee Gees.
Of the numerous game shows Reg Grundy produced in Brisbane, one of the most popular was I've Got a Secret, or iGas as it was known.
This is quite a gasser, I think you'll agree. And to start the questions on this one to see if we can find out what the Bee Gees' secret is, we'll start with Babette Stevens.
It was quite fun, really. We used to have a series of guests appear on the program,
and the guests were quizzed by the panel. We had to find out what their deep, dark secret was, and we used to astonishingly get a great number of the secrets out.
Hosted by Don Seckham, I've Got a Secret ran for a marathon 10 years, with over 1,600 local and international guests appearing.
Did this secret happen to all of you?
Yes.
All at the same time?
All of us, actually, no. Can I smell?
The panellists were Babette Stevens, Ron Cady, Russ Tyson, and the glamorous Joy Chambers, a Miss Surf Girl from Ipswich. Joy remembers she almost missed out on auditioning for the show after arriving at the studio 2 hours late.
My dad and I had got lost on the way because we had never been to Mount Cootha before. And it was close to 10 o'clock at night by the time we got there, and there were still hundreds of girls milling around outside the foyer of Channel 9. I wandered in and they said, "It's all over, you're too late."
Joy was about to go home when Reg Grundy himself suddenly emerged.
He said, "Thank you, ladies, for coming. You've all been wonderful. I've seen you all, but we've chosen our finalists." And I put up my hand at the back and said, "But you haven't seen me." And he took me into the auditions and I got the job.
Little did she know, 6 years later, she would sign another contract with Reg for life.
Got the job on I've Got a Secret, and I got the man, and I've had a lovely life with him.
Joy and the rest of the iGas gang were also regular performers on The Ron Cady Show, a popular evening variety show in the 60s.
You made me love you. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it.
The minute you walked in the joint, I could see you were a man of distinction, a real big spender, good-looking, so refined.
Cady was so popular with audiences, he won 6 Logies.
Big Pretzel, let's hear it for Big Pretzel.
Even the station's newsreaders couldn't escape appearing on The Ron Cady Show.
Bid me good night, love, and wish me goodbye.
What do you say? He's having us to dinner.
Mugga, mugga. Mugga, mugga.
Mugga, mugga.
Mugga.
He's having us for dinner.
We're all in black tights, you see, and makeup. And here we had Cady, the cannibal person, with black horn-rimmed glasses on, which of course was a gag in its own right. He didn't seem to think it was funny. Everybody was falling about. And I was the hunter, the great white hunter.
This performance is one of the most popular in the station's history and is still talked about today.
My boomerang won't come back.
Your boomerang won't come back.
My boomerang won't come back. My boomerang won't come back. I waved the thing all over the place. Practiced till I was black in the face.
They were wonderful sketches, and, you know, while we allegedly learned our lines, we made up a hell of a lot of them on the way past, too.
Look, Mum, it says nitrous oxide and laughing gas in brackets, all were.
You were proud to be associated with it. But of course, the main thing that Channel 9 means to me, and will mean to me for my entire life, is where I met Reg Grundy. And my life altered forever, in the very best way.
The Grundys sold their multi-million-dollar television production empire 14 years ago and now live the quiet life in Bermuda.
As far as the shows are concerned now, well, we still see Wheel of Fortune, we still see Temptation or Sale of the Century. The genesis of these ideas come from the brilliance of Reg.
Despite the Grundys' enormous success, they've never forgotten their old friends and where their journey all started. After the break, how a young schoolgirl called Kerry Ann got her start in television and the zany Jackie McDonald.
Sorry, Paul, sorry, but I just thought my bum just went through this rock. Jeez, look at that rock!
Sunday, Underbelly's Guyton Grantley
What's going on, mate? I haven't seen you in ages.
calls in a favour from a trusted member of the team.
Anyone know him?
Will Jordan jeopardise everything?
Who are you with?
Rescue Special Ops, Sunday 8:30, then new CSI Miami on 9.
Excuse me, sir. Could you please take a photo for us?
Sorry, mate, I don't speak English.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Nothing gets in the way of a KFC Mega Feast.
Eureka Street has been supplying Queensland families with solid timber furniture for over 23 years. We travel the world carefully sourcing all our stunning pieces of furniture so that your visit to any of our stores is both interesting and enjoyable every time. Our well-trained staff are more than happy to help you, so visit one of our 11 showrooms today.
The Sunday Mail Suncorp Bridge to Brisbane is on Sunday, August 30, from the Gateway Bridge to the Ekka Showgrounds.
This year, proceeds go to the Heart Foundation.
Help us fight heart disease and save the lives of Australians.
This is your last chance to enter, so enter online now. Online entries close Friday, August the 28th.
There's also a chance to win a Suzuki Alto.
So enter the Sunday Mail Suncorp Bridge to Brisbane and join the race day celebrations at the Ekka Showgrounds.
This is my passion, my energy, my sanctuary. This is my mate, my inspiration, my choice, my freedom. This is my passion, my energy, my sanctuary. This is my mate, my inspiration, my choice, my freedom, my everything, my Alto.
At Big W, we love babies. That's why you'll find all the big brands at baby prices. Amazing offers on Huggies. 2 jumbo boxes of nappies, $66, and 3 84-pack baby wipes, $18.98. Even the little ones live big for less at Big W.
Eating out is happier when healthier and fresher. Yeah. Get together with tastier, saucier and tender. Yeah. Yummier, yummier. No wonder I'm a Sizzler lover. Sizzler is a happier. Get together. Does it for me, does it for me, does it for me. Tenderly. Does it for me, does it for me, does it for me. Perfectly. Does it for me, does it for me.
We've given away more than $2 million. Monday, another big winner joins the list. Hot Seat, 5:30 on 9.
This special telecast of 50 years of television is brought to you by RACQ Insurance.
Dancing? Singing? Blah, 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 blah. I can't believe that was me. It's footage of my audition for a New Kids show 6 years ago. Like many television presenters, I got my start in children's TV. In the Nine network, Brisbane has always been home base for making kids programs, and the man who started it all 50 years ago was Captain Jim Iliff. Our first children's show was the Channel 9ers.
He used to do children's program on radio, and it was, you know, quite popular. And so when they were choosing someone to do television, he auditioned, and he was the right man for the job.
A former airline pilot, the show's host, Captain Jim Iliff, landed on our screens every afternoon at 5 o'clock.
So he was a pilot, but he'd never flown helicopters. But the idea was to make it look as if he was flying it, and the kids believed it. And I can remember when we first moved into our home, kids came from everywhere, and they looked at our garage, and one kid said, "That's not big enough to put your helicopter in."
The show's junior flyer members went on all kinds of adventures. There were trips up the Brisbane River to Lone Pine, even an aeroplane ride over Brisbane in a DC-3.
Jim Iliff was a wonderful television man, a generous, a kind man, and he was just wonderful for television, full stop.
When Captain Jim was looking for a young presenter to join the team, he spotted talent in a schoolgirl from Sandgate.
Come on up here, Kerry. Incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, Kerry is one of Jim Iliff's guests here, or friends or workmates, I should class it as.
Because I remember being at SeaWorld when I was like 15 or 16 in the first lavender bikini I ever had in my entire life from Paula Stafford.
Little did Jim know he'd found a star of the future.
I think she was there one day and she was miming a record, and so she was, you know, she has a great personality, Kerry Ann, and she just really impressed Jim.
Kerry, could you lean right out, please? It makes it a lot easier for Len to push you in. That's the girl.
And they said, well, you know, this is how you hold the fish, and you literally had to walk the plank. It was this long plank, and I'm holding this fish for the dolphins to come up, and I think I had my eyes closed, and whooshka, they pushed me in.
The last girl that did that lost them all. And she came up smarting too. Well, thank you very much, Kerry.
And that dolphin, Amity, was one of the first dolphins ever at SeaWorld, and she is still there. She's like the grandmother to all the other dolphins there, and she's still there, but she's got warts on her nose. One of us hasn't aged well.
Here comes Jackie and all that jazz.
Oh, here we go. What's the matter? Sorry, Paul, sorry, but my bum just went through this rock. Jeez, look at that rock!
When Jim Iliff hung up his pilot's cap after 14 years, he auditioned dozens of young hopefuls.
And of course we were all giggling because they'd say, "Now, what are your hobbies?" And these girls would say, "Oh, well, we really like overseas travel, and we particularly like crocheting and stamp collecting." So I hopped in the chair and sat down, and they said, "Now, what are your hobbies?" And I said, "Well, drinking, smoking, and going out with wild blokes." And there was this great, you heard all the people, the director, everyone laugh.
And she was just a natural, absolutely a natural. She just was Jackie. That personality.
Jackie Blue lives her life from inside of her room. Hides a smile when she's wearing a...
I was about 17 or 18 or something. Yes, I just left boarding school. I was straight out of boarding school.
She also presented the weather Jackie Mac style.
I put a glove on this hand and I'd keep it down low and I'd say, well, the Weather Bureau say that on one hand tomorrow it could be quite warm, but on the other hand it could be quite cool. And then we'd all think it was hilarious. The Weather Bureau thought it was shocking and said, you better get up here and get a lesson in how to be a proper weather girl.
The most popular female personality is Jackie McDonald.
One of these people, he said, you will never win a Logie. They do not let little turkeys like you win a Logie. Oh, I was lucky. I won lots of them, and it was fabulous.
In fact, she won a record 13 Logie Awards.
Especially, I'd like to thank all you wonderful Queenslanders. Thank you very much. I love you.
Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Well, obviously, I'm a little bit young to have watched Jackie on All That Jazz, but I remember watching her every Saturday night on Hey Hey It's Saturday. Being in kids' TV, people always come up to you and talk about the classics, what was on before you, things like Overand's Rainbow and the Channel 9ers and Bushbeat. But I always remember watching Wonderworld growing up. All the teenage boys at the time watched it for Katrina Roundtree. Well, Channel 9 Brisbane has always been home base for kids shows. And that's why a lot of the biggest stars like Kerry Ann and Jackie McDonald have got their foot in the door here. It's where they kick-started it all. And hopefully with the Shack we can carry on that legacy.
It will always be special to me. When I was driving up here, I was thinking I haven't been here for a long, long time, but I used to drive here every day for years and years and years and think I was the luckiest little person I knew, and I was right.
You're watching Channel 9's 50th birthday special. Coming up next, Queensland's Mr. Television.
They've won a weekend for two at our favourite hotel.
Oh, the Robbie. Shamrock!
When Bree's mother passed away, bravely she helped care for her younger brothers and sisters.
Sad to think that she's had to grow up so quickly.
Join us for a very special story as we transform a little girl's life.
Yeah! Oh.
New Domestic Blitz, Sunday 6:30 on 9.
And now here's some food for pleasure with Jeremy Ryland and Faye Delanty.
You know, Faye, not a week goes by without Australians being bombarded with advice by so-called food experts on how to stay healthy by eating sensibly.
Yeah, true. I mean, I've even noticed that fast food outlets have got salads as healthy alternatives on their menus now.
Sizzler has always provided choice and variety so people can enjoy balance of nutrition, still indulge in the decadence of dessert.
And the centrepiece for Sizzler really is the salad bar. I mean, Sizzler's been doing salads for years now.
Did you know that the salad has been around since Roman times? The Romans were enthusiastic eaters of salads, and they differed little from today, being leafy vegetables with a dressing.
And we've come a long way from the old iceberg lettuce, sliced tomato, canned beetroot doused with vinegar, haven't we?
Oh, very true. Today's salads are innovative and exciting, being a wide range of leafy greens and vegetables from all over the world.
I love that with salads too, there's no limit to what you can put in them and how you present them.
And the Sizzler salad bar offers a range of favourites, so there's always a choice of fresh, healthy options for all of the family.
Sizzler, they really are the salad bar experts, aren't they?
Certainly are.
Let's dig in, this is great.
For the best salad, seafood and steak, you can't beat Sizzler. For food and pleasure, Sizzler does it for me.
There's never been a better time to buy a brand new Villa World home. Take advantage of the $21,000 first homeowners boost and the lowest interest rates in 30 years. Villa World Homes has a range of outstanding value ready to move into designs throughout South East Queensland. For your nearest Villa World Homes display, visit besttimetobuy.com.au or call our home hotline 1800 116 193.
Early birds always get a great deal. Right now, book a 7-night P&O cruise from just $799. That's up to 50% off the full fare. 2010 early bird sale on now. See your travel agent today.
There's a new secret recipe at KFC, Cayenne Grill. Every fresh breast fillet is marinated overnight in aromatic southern spices, so it's bursting with flavour. Try it in one of our delicious twisters.
Can't beat that taste. In 1 week, they lost both their parents to cancer. Ever since, we've been fighting to keep the 5 gorgeous Hannah kids together. Now, Australia, we've done it.
It's not as easy as it looks.
With your help, we've raised $1 million. Join us for all the tears, all the smiles in the Feel Good TV event of the year as we build them a new home and a new life together. Monday on A Current Affair.
This special telecast of 50 years of 9 for News is brought to you by KFC.
Hello, I'm Heather Ford. You're watching our special look at 50 years of Queensland television. And what a milestone that is. You know, it's hard to believe it's only been 5 decades since TV first entered our lounge rooms. As viewers nowadays, we have an immense choice of programs, from drama to comedy, lifestyle and reality television. But in the early days, it was all about the variety show.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome your host for Laugh and Be Happy, Mr. Paul Sharrett.
A household name in the 70s and 80s, Paul Sharrett was Queensland's Mr. Television.
Oh, bless your hearts for coming out to see us on the very first night of our Studio 9 show, and we do hope you sitting at home are going to have a wonderful evening and enjoy a live show from the studios of Channel 9. It's all happening live up here.
After a stage career in London, he toured the world before settling in Queensland to join the pioneers of television.
Now, shut up, everybody. We did have a case not long ago where...
If I was a ventriloquist, I'd never have a dummy like that.
Paul Sharrett produced so many shows over the decades, but his most famous was Studio 9. Sadly, the veteran entertainer passed away in May this year, just a week after recording this interview.
The transition for me from stage to television was a difficult one. I'd always been a stage performer. Quite honestly, I always preferred stage work to television. But at that time, in the early 70s, television was really beginning to become exciting and everybody was involved in it.
He was a very professional Englishman who really came out here and showed us all how to do it, because he'd been doing it for the whole of his life.
All right, you've won it. We didn't tell them what it was.
What do they want?
Tell them what it is.
The motel, a night in the motel with you.
No. They've won a weekend for two at our favourite hotel.
Oh, the Broadbeach. Chevron!
It was really a time that was so exciting. QTQ9 was looked upon as being the live television centre in Australia, strangely enough.
Paul had another big television hit with Autumn's Music Hall. Broadcast live from a theatre restaurant on the Gold Coast, the show recaptured his British vaudeville days.
Sail up the avenue, but we haven't got a yacht. We would ride up the avenue, but the horse we had was shot.
It was all the fun, the old songs and the comedians of the British Music Hall. That was a wonderful concept and it really was successful. And it became a little legendary saying on the Gold Coast, and I might say it still is, when it is brought to you, of course, at enormous expense, which was the little catchphrase that preceded each of the music hall acts.
Paul Sharrett also produced the long-running shows Stairway to the Stars and Reg Lindsay's Country Homestead.
$25 bill now, $30, 30, will you give me 30, make it a 30 bill, bomb a $30, will you give me 30, who to make a $30 bill?
He was behind many big-budget celebrity specials for Channel 9.
Let's go to the YMCA. Come on, let's go to the YMCA.
I wanna see a show stopper with a show-stopping song. A show stopper with a show-stopping dance.
But the most important special of all was in 1982. The Queen was here for the Commonwealth Games and Channel 9 was asked to stage a gala performance.
I'd love to have a beer with Philip. I'd love to have a beer with Phil.
It was to be the last show in Brisbane's Her Majesty's Theatre. In the past decade, television has moved away from local variety shows, with national lifestyle and reality programs leading the way into the future.
You may kiss the bride.
Channel 9's biggest TV hit over the past 2 years has been the big-budget drama Underbelly. And our long-running comedy show, Funniest Home Videos, is still going strong after 20 years.
I still laugh. I still do watch that. And I still laugh when you get the four fat old ladies like me and my friends all sitting on the chair, one gets up and they all fall down. Straight away I go.
Our own Jackie Mack, she's still just as wacky after all these years. Coming up next in our 50 years of Queensland television celebration, half a century of news and weather.
And this was recorded at Gimcar.
What mistake does one girl make that may cause a shock exit?
I actually woke up and thought I'm just going to leave.
New Farmer Wants a Wife, Monday 8:30.
Then at 9:30, the show critics say is the perfect combination of comedy.
Is there something wrong with you?
No. Drama.
You're going through something, aren't you? You're not the same. I'm not.
And fun. New Drop Dead Diva, Monday 9:30 after Farmer on 9.
Eating out is happier when healthier and fresher. Yeah. Get together with tastier, saucier and tender. Yeah. Yummier, yummier. No wonder I'm a Sizzler lover. Sizzler is a happier. Get together. Does it for me, does it for me, does it for me. Tenderly. Does it for me, does it for me, does it for me. Perfectly. Does it for me, does it for me.
At Holden, we're running out Australia's favourite car, the Holden Commodore, with great deals right across the Commodore V6 sedan range. Don't miss the Commodore V6 sedan run out. Hurry into your Holden dealer today. It's only while stocks last. Go better.
Hello. At Suncorp Bank, we're opening more branches, adding new ATMs, bringing mobile bankers to you, and giving you easier ways to do banking on your mobile, so you can bank the way you want. Now that's bright banking.
Before you queue up for NRL Grand Final tickets, grab a Keno ticket. It's Keno's greatest Grand Final ever. 4 mates, 4 nights, 4 Grand Final events. I'll even join you in the box. For more fun with friends, just add Keno.
I just can't decide.
You don't have to. Get our new All-Stars box.
With original recipe, popcorn chicken, a crispy strip, wicked wings and sides, the choice is easy. KFC's All-Stars box.
Eureka Street has been supplying Queensland families with solid timber furniture for over 23 years. Eureka Street was the first company in Queensland to care for the environment by using recycled timber to create beautifully crafted furniture that everyone will love. Visit one of our 11 showrooms today for a truly unique furniture experience.
Queensland, it's part of me, sunshine in the heart of me. Channel 9.
Welcome back, I'm Eva Millick. Channel 9 broadcast Queensland's first television news bulletin at 10 o'clock on TV's opening night 50 years ago. For the first time, moving pictures of events that happened that day were beamed into our lounge rooms. Over the past 5 decades, thousands of news stories have informed and moved us. And one of the biggest that affected us Queenslanders more than most was the 1974 floods.
I just feel so sorry for these people. Come in and have a look at this, and perhaps this will bring it home to you.
Who could forget Don Seckham, overcome with emotion in this live-to-air report?
I don't know whether you like me and you love books, but I love books. And this house has a library that, frankly, I would be very proud of. Currently, you can't even get the books out of the library. That's the sort of thing these people have lost in this flood.
One of our most respected newsmen, Don Seckham, presented the Evening Bulletin for 25 years. In 1962, he was joined by Australia's first female newsreader, Melody Welsh. It was a bold move that proved popular with viewers and won Melody QTQ's first Logie Award.
From Queensland, a special award, a very rare award, possibly a unique award, for news reading since it goes to a girl. Melody Welsh for news reading.
On behalf of the Channel 9 News Department, and a very big thank you to TV Week.
It said Queensland Special Award News Reading to Melody Welsh, and in brackets, acknowledged ability in a man's domain. You wouldn't see that now.
The box flat colliery at Ipswich exploded and 17 miners died.
Don was later teamed with Brian Carl, who says the explosion at the Boxflat Colliery in Ipswich in 1972 is one story he'll never forget.
When we could show them relatives, frantic wives and frantic mothers and fathers, and then that terrible time when they just had to close it in, you know, that brought it right home, literally into the home.
There have been so many big moments in Queensland news over the last 50 years.
Horror, shock, recriminations and disgust. The reactions today to Australia's worst mass murder as a dragnet begins for the killer of 15 people in the Whiskey or Go-Go firebombing.
After years of preparation, Brisbane this afternoon staged its greatest spectacular, the opening of the Commonwealth Games at QE2 Stadium.
Expo 88 is something like a coming of age for our city.
One of our most memorable political stories was the resignation of former Premier Sir Joh Bjelke-Petersen.
I've decided to resign as Premier and retire from Parliament, effective immediately.
State political editor for 30 years, Spencer Joly was there on that day, and this year covered the historic election of Australia's first female mainland state Premier, Anna Bligh.
It's an extraordinary result.
Times have changed. I remember Joe appointing Yvonne Chapman as the first cabinet woman in cabinet. And he rang her up the day before and he said, Yvonne, he said, get your hair permed and put your lippy on. You're coming into cabinet tomorrow.
It's his birthday in 10 days' time.
It was second passenger jet to the second tower.
Then the tears flowed and she began to slap her forehead.
Daddy made this place his whole life. Now it's our turn to help Daddy. Thank you.
Over there in front of the Shire Hall, volunteers have spent hours handing out bottled water and food. This is my old hometown, but make no mistake, it looks like a battle zone.
Cyclone Larry is the story that left a lasting impression on long-serving newsreader Bruce Page.
The first piece of television that we put to air from Innisfail outside the town hall, I'm extremely proud of that, and all the subsequent ones. And I think in not small measure, we helped the rest of Australia understand what those poor beggars up there had gone through. Hello, Jackie.
Hi, Bruce. Bruce started reading the nightly news for Channel 9 in 1985.
In all, more than 100,000 people saw the Pope speaking, travelling and praying in Brisbane. I don't recognise the person. He hasn't got the right coloured hair for a start, and far too skinny.
After an incredible 18-year career, Bruce retired earlier this year at age 60. His on-air partner during the 80s was Robin Parkin, who says it was a good time to be in television.
There were big budgets. I mean, when Alan Bond owned Channel 9, it was there were excesses. We were taken out to lunch and there was caviar and champagne, for goodness sake.
Robin brought glamour to the news, her wardrobe and hairstyles quite the talking point.
Viewers certainly seemed to be obsessed with my hair at the time, but once I got a fringe cut, and that was not popular, you know, I got comments saying, we don't like your fringe. The fringe didn't last.
Around the same time, a young reporter had joined the news team.
You know, I would never have said that I had a bowl cut. But there it is. You can see it on camera, on all the publicity photos. It's amazing. And the shoulder pads were this big.
Heather Ford went on to become the weeknight newsreader. In her 22 years with Channel 9, her most memorable report was on the funeral of Princess Diana.
Many people have been waiting at the barricades for 2 days or more to view this funeral. We were covering the funeral from outside Buckingham Palace, and the world's media were all standing shoulder to shoulder on boxes with cameras lined up like this, and I was standing next to Nigerian TV and all these other people, and we were getting up before dawn to actually just go and shoot the news just on dawn daybreak. It was so really exciting stuff.
Nine has also led the way in current affairs over the past 50 years. In 1979, it launched the groundbreaking program Today Tonight.
The news was all the more shocking because the mother of the baby, Mrs. Linda Chamberlain, claimed that her daughter Azaria was taken by a dingo.
It was empty. I ran out of the tent. I said to Michael, the dingo's got the baby.
Hello, I'm Tracy Grimshaw. Welcome to A Current Affair.
As 6:30 Current Affairs shows went national, Brisbane launched Extra, a new look afternoon program made by South East Queenslanders for South East Queenslanders.
Each weekday at this time, we'll be giving you a closer look at life in Brisbane, the things that annoy us or make us smile.
Rick Burnett was at the helm for 15 years.
Hello and welcome to Extra, live from Wet and Wild, and I'm 7 stories high on the speed slide. I'll see you in a couple of seconds.
extra programs in other states got axed after 1 year, the Brisbane show built a loyal following. Veteran reporter Doug Murray was there from day one.
Bit of a trademark, the hats. And I was wearing hats all my life, since my early teens. And it became a bit of a trademark, and as they say, when you're on a good thing, or a good trademark, stick to it.
How is that cot piece? Comfortable?
I'm just a hunk of burning love.
Doug interviewed hundreds of Queensland's colourful characters and never passed up the opportunity for a little television magic.
Nothing improves escapology quite like suspense. Best improvement comes with suspension.
After informing and entertaining viewers for an incredible 18 years, the landmark local program came to an end in June.
All the team at Extra, have a good night.
Have a great night. Thank you.
Most importantly, thank you.
The weather report has also been a big part of our news over the years. Nine's first weather girl was the multi-talented Pam Mackay.
Have a dream, don't have a dream. How you gonna have a dream come true?
In the mid-60s, Annette Allison introduced the station's favourite gag to the weather forecast.
The maximum temperature recorded in Queensland today was 88 degrees, and this was recorded at Gympie.
They said, we want to have this running gag and you have to say something that relates to pie. Well, that made it very easy when it came to the weather forecast, because I was always doing the top temperature today is in Quilpie, and they'd go whack in the face with a pie.
Nine's current weatherman Gary Youngberry says the biggest change in weather reporting has been the advance in technology, which has led to more accurate forecasts.
Well, a few years back, for example, I used to have to draw the maps myself, and with tracing paper, the isobars and everything on the map. These days they're computer generated. We have all those automatic weather stations feeding in all the data, and the computers generate that model, not just for 24 hours ahead, but for the next week and sometimes even longer. So very important, not just for us on the coast and metropolitan areas, but also for our farmers as well.
Still ahead on our 50 years of Queensland television special, the highs and lows of televised sport.
Go Broncos. Yeah, but it's cricket. It's cricket. Broncos. It's cricket. Broncos. Broncos.
Julia Roberts, Cameron Diaz and Australia's Rachel Griffiths. My best friend's wedding is coming up next on 9.
I went fishing in Matini the other day and I ran into this charter boat.
What, you didn't see it?
No, anyway, because I've got RACQ boat insurance, I'm covered.
How could you not see a charter boat?
Whether you want to cover your boat against damage or just for the damage it may cause, talk to us. From $89 a year, we'll help you wherever we can.
Charter boat? What charter boat?
RACQ Insurance. Wouldn't be without them.
I just can't decide.
You don't have to. Get our new All-Stars box.
With original recipe, popcorn chicken, a crispy strip, wicked wings and sides, the choice is easy. KFC's All-Stars box.
Right now, there are unreal deals on Queensland's best holidays. Stay 5 nights, pay for 3 from $229. See your travel agent or call 138833 for the best deals on the best Queensland holidays.
There's a new secret recipe at KFC, Cayenne Grill. Every fresh breast fillet is marinated overnight in aromatic southern spices, so it's bursting with flavour. Try it in one of our delicious twisters.
Can't beat that taste. During winter, cold and hot air can be tough on the scalp. Head & Shoulders Dry Scalp Care with triple moisturisers that help revitalise your scalp, leaving your hair flake-free and beautiful. Head & Shoulders, your winter scalp solution.
Eating out is happier when healthier and fresher. Yeah. Get together with tastier, saucier and tender. Yeah. Yummier, yummier. No wonder I'm a Sizzler lover. Sizzler is a happier. Get together. Does it for me, does it for me, does it for me. Tenderly. Does it for me, does it for me, does it for me. Perfectly. Does it for me, does it for me.
On 60 Minutes,
Nicely done, eh?
Michael Usher's spectacular adventure in the land where icebergs begin.
How cool is that?
Also, Hogs and Kenny together on the ultimate Aussie road trip.
Treasure in the country.
Toyota presents 60 Minutes, Sunday. This special telecast of 50 years of 9 for News is brought to you by Sizzler.
Hello, I'm Ian Healy. Television sport has always been popular with viewers. I remember clearly as a kid sneaking out of bed late at night to watch my favourite sports on Channel 9, whether it was Wimbledon, the Commonwealth Games or of course the Ashes. But it's arguably the coverage of the State of Origin that has fired up the fans more than any other, and it all kicked off with that historic first game.
There's a kick-off.
State of Origin was born on the 8th of July 1980.
Lang Park was absolutely packed to the rafters that night.
Queenslanders were pinning their hopes on rugby league legend Arthur Beetson, who'd returned home to captain his state for the very first time. Up until then, he'd only ever represented New South Wales.
It was the first time the big fella had donned a Maroons jersey, and the crowd went absolutely nuts. They went mad and they welcomed him home at 35 years of age, almost 36. He got to play one of the games of his life, but thankfully it was in a Maroons jersey.
The big fella led Queensland to a 2010 victory in front of more than 33,000 spectators.
There's a full-time hooter and it's all over. Queensland have defeated New South Wales by 20 points to 10.
That first game was one of the most memorable Origin moments for Wally Lewis, along with his last game in 1991.
And leaves the winner, the champion on this ground that he's always been.
After playing 31 games for the Maroons, Wally decided to hang up his footy boots the day he discovered his daughter, Jamie Lee, was profoundly deaf.
I walked up to the team manager, Dick Tosser-Turner, and said to him prior to the game that, mate, that's enough. There's more important things, and I've got a little girl to look after.
His final walk around Lang Park with his 2 boys, an emotional end to an amazing football career.
There's Lincoln Lewis and Mitchell with Dadwell.
Since its beginnings, Origin has never looked back, continuing to deliver nail-biting football year after year.
That's not a try, that's a miracle!
In 2001, who could forget Coach Wayne Bennett's genius plan to bring the legendary Alfie Langer out of retirement for the decider. Alf set up 3 tries in the first half and scored one himself in the second.
Langer, danger, danger, Langer's over, is he? Yes! Langer gets a try!
Queensland smashed the Blues 40-14, taking out the series and cementing the Alfie comeback as one of the best moments in Origin history. It was State of Origin that led to the birth of the Brisbane Broncos.
Brisbane are the premiers!
The most successful club over the last 2 decades, the Broncos have snared 6 premierships and now boast the largest fan base in Australia. Last year saw the emotional farewell of long-time coach Wayne Bennett, son Justin by his side, as 37,000 fans paid tribute.
It was always about the fans, and you've been wonderful to the club, the players and myself, and I thank you very, very much.
The popularity of the Broncos resulted in the launch of Queensland's own footy shows.
Kevin Walton! And just running through. How many L's in McPherson? Horse? 2.
Big call.
And the Broncos win the premiership.
Yeah, hang on, no, it's cricket. It's cricket this weekend, mate.
No, but go Broncos.
Yeah, but it's cricket. It's cricket.
Broncos!
It's cricket.
Broncos! Broncos!
Over the past 5 decades, Queensland's quest for the elusive Sheffield Shield has also been a big highlight in television sport on 9. We watch the torment of year after year of agonising defeats. At the 94-95 final, the Gabba crowd were hopeful. Then, after 68 years of disappointment, it happened. It was all over. The Shield was ours.
And a chance for Rackham, and he's grabbed it. Exactly where he took the final catch in the first innings. Carl Rackerman has taken the catch that wins Queensland their first ever Shield final.
Players wept with relief and ecstasy. There was no victory ever this sweet.
68 years to win it was a long time, but the celebrations after 94-95 made up for 68 years. There was a lot of blood, sweat and tears put into those 68 years, but on that great day in 95, March, wiped away all those sad memories.
You suckered me in that ring when I wasn't watching, you cocks!
In television sport, this was another program that had viewers enthralled in the 70s and 80s.
You hurt my neck, cock! You hurt my neck! I'm gonna beat you! I'm gonna crush you! You can't hurt me, cock! You can't hurt me, cock!
Matches were staged at Brisbane's old festival hall in the city, and Channel 9 even built their own wrestling ring in the studio.
Channel 9 presents the world of championship wrestling. And here's your commentators, Mike Cleary and Ted Whitten.
Former Australian heavyweight champion Ronnie Miller says the secret behind the show's 15-year success was the combination of showbiz and sport.
Wrestling was able to combine both.
It's very hard
the flashy gowns, the interviews, the hype, the flexing, but all of that stuff always took a backseat to wrestling. Wrestling was your #1 ingredient.
The crowd favourite was Frenchman Andre the Giant.
Tries to take the leg to take him down. Andy Harper's on the other end. Kicks one away, kicks the other way. 510 pounds, 7'5".
They called him the 8th wonder of the world. To meet him was an experience. Something that I was proud to say I was his friend.
My mother's gonna hear about this, and that Lord's gonna pay. That Lord at Curtis Scenario's gonna pay when my mother hears what happens to me.
I was just a young boy watching it on black and white TV in those days. I can remember sitting there watching it on a Saturday, I'm pretty sure it was, and having the opportunity to be able to go out after the program was finished and try and emulate some of the feats that we'd just seen on the screen was fantastic. I don't think my young brothers enjoyed it all that much, but throwing them around was part of the fun.
After 50 years of television in Queensland, there's no doubt the small screen has changed our lives forever. Back then, who would have known how far this new technology would take us? The average home now has 3 TVs, and we're now embracing the new frontier, digital television and multiple free-to-air channels. Let's hope the next 50 years are just as entertaining. Good night.
It was an amazing time in an amazing place and doing things we loved on 3 cameras with a bit of string and sealing wax.
QTQ was where I started. It will always be the first home, the first place, and the best.
You know, if it hadn't been for Channel 9, we would never have met, and
That's
that would
true.
have been a shame.
It would have.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Channel 9.
Happy birthday.
We helped create an industry that nobody knew anything about, or hardly anybody knew anything.
Happy birthday, Channel 9. Don't let all your firecrackers off at once.
Have a wonderful 50th birthday, and remember, it is brought to you, of course, at enormous expense.
This special telecast of 50 years of television is brought to you by KFC, Sizzler, RACQ Insurance and Eureka Street Furniture.